So, Dan, we know that there was one amendment that was meant to happen before this passed. What are the details that we know?
That amendment was proposed by Texas Republican John Cornyn, which it basically just had to do with paying a prevailing wage to construction workers who are building or who would be building new fabrication plants for semiconductors in the U.S. That amendment failed, but it didn't affect the end result, which was that the Senate passed the bill 68-32. So it was a major bipartisan vote that had enough votes to clear the Senate. And so now it moves on to the House, and we're not really sure exactly what's going to happen there because there's some different ideas on how they want to handle this in that chamber. So. But this was a multi-week effort and one of the few sort of things that was moving in the Senate right now. So it was a big deal.
Exactly, given the partisanship that we continue to see in Congress, right? So what does this tell you about this anti-China sentiment that's uniting Republicans and Democrats?
Well, I think it's certainly emerged in the last 2 or 3 years as kind of one of the issues that does seem to bring both parties together. I think that's more true in the Senate than it is in the House, but certainly overall in Congress, that seems to be the case, where there is an increased willingness to take on China. This bill is sort of interesting because one of the things that it does is increase domestic, that is U.S. domestic manufacturing capacity and technology and things of that nature. And in that respect, it's kind of like an infrastructure bill or a miniature infrastructure bill more than it is a foreign policy bill. But I think because it was sort of couched in such a way that it was, sort of seen as anti-China or counter-China, and it included a lot of things that senators like to go home to their home states and talk about, like bringing manufacturing jobs, back and things like that. It had a pretty wide base of appeal.